All right.
Hello, everybody.
We're back, loners. How y'all doing? Hope you enjoyed our last videos. Still got to get back around to the comments. We will. At least to as much as we can. Because you guys are really quick to comment.
I know.
Yeah. No, but we like that you guys comment and interact. We appreciate it. Thanks for the good vibes if you put any out for Linda.
Oh, yeah. Thank you guys for anyone who's been commenting anything about
Hoping she
my health.
feels better, yeah.
Yeah. I've seen a few.
Yeah.
I also haven't been keeping up too much with the comments just because I've been in my head lately.
Yeah.
But thank you. I have seen a few and I'm doing better. I have a checkup tomorrow, so hopefully everything goes well. Did you hear our dog sigh? You poor thing.
Yeah, our dog does this thing where he like, if we don't give him attention or just anything, he'll like curl up in a ball and just go like.
Yeah, the struggle of being
a dog.
A pet.
Yep.
All right. This is episode what?
47.
47 intro.
Roll that intro. All right. Welcome back again. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate it. If you haven't yet, don't forget to go jump over to our vlog channel. We appreciate it. We're posting more consistently on there.
We were trying to. I missed 1 week because I wasn't feeling well, but yeah, we're trying to like at least have something once a week up there. We're starting to get a few more ideas that hopefully we're able to.
Yeah,
fulfill.
It's not gonna be so much of like. It's really not going to be like this, like American based versus other stuff like at all. But it's just going to be us like doing topics that we want to talk about or just anything, you know, us doing stuff.
It's just random stuff.
Yeah. So if you enjoy us, you will enjoy that, I would think. But yeah, anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. I think I'm good.
Cool. Okay. So today we're going to do a video called How Americans Are Tricked into Buying Fake Food. And it's by CNBC. I'm sure you guys know what that is. All right. And here we go.
I mean, maybe. Oh, sorry. Okay, go.
Okay. So you think this is olive oil, right? Wrong. Well, maybe some of it is, but this is actually a classic example of food fraud.
The extra virgin olive oils are being switched out with cheap ones.
And fraudulent to sell something labeled as something else.
Why is this fish being mislabeled?
Your Parmesan cheese products do not contain any Parmesan cheese.
Because there was no one brand that stood.
Hold on. This is gonna ruin my fucking day. I can just feel it. I'm gonna be micromanaging every little thing I eat now, and I don't like that. But then I should probably know.
The thing is, I think there probably are trusted companies that will give you the real product, but I don't think a lot of them are probably accepted into Vons and Trader Joe's and Whole Foods. Like,
I'm sure there are. You just have to sit there and do your diligence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know. I just don't like
having to think like, what am I really eating in this?
No, that's the thing. It sounds like ignorant to be like, I don't want to think about what I'm eating, but it's like, I just want to trust that if it says cheese, it's cheese.
Instead of like 50 other
like,
ingredients
why do you have to
that
write
make up the flavor of cheese.
Now with real cheese on things.
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
with real cheese. You shouldn't have to announce it. If it's
Doubt is completely safe.
Wow, so we can't eat anything.
I guarantee you, anytime a product can be passed off as something more expensive, it will be. It's that simple.
Counterfeits, dilution, substitution.
What? Hennessy?
I don't know. Maybe that was
Counterfeit Hennessy. Man, liquor too.
I mean, no one's drinking liquor for the health benefits. Let's be real.
Yeah.
And mislabeling. Food fraud not only harms consumers' wallets, it puts their health and safety at risk.
We might not know the overall impact of food fraud because so much of what fraudsters do is hidden from us and has been for centuries.
Some estimates say food fraud affects at least 1% of the global food industry. at a cost as high as $40 billion a year, according to the Food and Drug Administration.
Grocery Manufacturers of America estimated that 10% of the commercially available food in the United States is adulterated. That's 1 in 10. It means if you're not on that 8-item or less checkout line, you've got something in your cart when you leave the supermarket that's probably bogus.
Here's how and why fake food sits secretly in our kitchen cabinets. According to the FDA, food fraud is considered economically motivated adulteration, or
Makes sense.
EMA.
It's a monetary impact to the consumer and to the food manufacturers, but it's also a potential public safety, public health impact. It robs us of nutrients and can kill people and has.
Wow.
Larry Olmsted researched food fraud for years and published his book, Real Food, Fake Food, in 2016.
As I worked on this book, my definition of fake food became anytime what you buy is not what you think you're buying. Doesn't really matter whether it's legal or illegal. It's where you're being tricked. You're buying something that's not what you think it is.
The worst offenders can include seafood, meat, dairy, honey, alcohol, spices.
The fraud happens more with more expensive foods. Totally makes sense, right? There's a higher margin.
Take your extra virgin olive oil as an example. Fraud usually occurs here when a cheaper oil is added to the more expensive oil, and the label still reads 100% extra virgin olive oil. That's food fraud.
Olive oil.
They're lying to us.
How is that legal? I mean, I definitely have seen things advertised as one thing, and then when you read the label, it says like
a bunch of
the
other
first
stuff.
ingredient. It could be like a cheaper oil, you know?
Yeah.
And you know, it's your job to kind of check that, but like, why are you putting 100%? How is that legal? That's ridiculous.
We must, I don't know, to be honest. I mean, they'll probably explain it a little more, but there must be some things that
Regulations, they don't.
that they allow like
They're
them to do this.
They're like, as long as 10%, then you can just label it as the whole thing.
Maybe if like the FDA gets paid off. I don't know. I know that's going into like conspiracy, but yeah, it could. I wouldn't. Money motivates so many people in this country and in the world. But I mean, like, I think here it motivates people the most because of the way that we have the medical industry paid off, the way that we have the food industry paid off, like
Pharmaceutical industry.
yeah, everything. It's just like everything is. There's money behind it. They won't take into consideration people as much.
Well, because they benefit off sick people more than they do off healthy people.
Yeah, because the money is the motivator.
Okay, anyway.
Has been adulterated for thousands of years because it is of high value and it is sought out.
They might flavor it with beta carotene and maybe color it with a little chlorophyll to make it a little more green. And so then you've got a lower quality.
Chlorophyll? Apparently. More like borophyll. No, I'm just kidding.
Why would you do that?
It's from Billy Madison.
Babe, press play.
Cheaper oil.
So both of these olive oils I got at the grocery store, and both of them are the store brand, but one cost way more than the other. This one had a label of 100% Mediterranean blend of extra virgin olive oil. So the olives were sourced from a bunch of different European countries, and it said it was packed in Italy, and there was no expiration date. And when I purchased this one was a 100% California extra virgin olive oil. First pressed, cold pressed, unfiltered, no artificial colors, preservatives, or flavors. And this one had an expiration date. It said that these olives were harvested in October, November 2022, and that it would be good on your shelf until August 2024. And it was much more expensive. Roughly twice as much as this olive oil. And this one had way more information about where this olive oil came from.
Now let's look at the spice market as another one that's vulnerable to fraud. Think of an expensive spice, like saffron. This tiny amount cost me $20 at the store. Saffron can be bulked up with some other material like plant stems and sold as the same, according to the FDA.
Popular spices like basil and chili powder from a range of different brands.
Anything that's kind of colored orange, brown, and ground up can be passed off as turmeric.
It's the ultimate bait and
Damn.
switch.
Fuck.
And then there's fish. The FDA says seafood.
Well, it kind of sucks because when you get something that you're just trying to get something that you know is beneficial for your health, there's like a big placebo effect type of thing like here, like where they'll put like a small amount of the actual thing and just fill the rest of it with some other thing that might have the same,
like a carrier.
Yeah. It's the same thing like when it's like we bought some like supplements and stuff like that. They're like for health wise and stuff like that. But then when I looked into it more, it actually only had, it was pretty much like fake. Like it had a very, very small amount of what we actually wanted for the health benefit, and the rest was just like some other filler stuff that didn't do anything. And then it's just like when you find that out, you're like, these products are expensive and you're really getting nothing.
Right.
It's crazy.
Well, it's also difficult because some of these things you can't really like test yourself and be like,
yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
You just have to kind of trust it.
Which is stupid.
Yeah, and also with supplements is a different thing because those don't have to be regulated by the FDA and all that.
And a lot of them are cut with just like nothing.
Fake stuff, yeah.
Fraud can occur when a less expensive species of fish is substituted for a more expensive
I get scared with
species. After all, it's kind of hard to know what fish you're buying, right?
If you're an experienced chef or fishmonger, you can look at like a red snapper fillet and tell whether it's red snapper, but 99% of consumers can't. You know, most of the fish we eat is white fish. Every fillet looks pretty much the same, which is why
to me,
so
that's
much.
So to me,
I can tell.
Yeah, it's because she's like she's a trained chef. And I would, to me, I'm just like, oh, fish.
Oh yeah, like the other night you cooked like tilapia, and this morning you're like, yeah, we should make some more cod, and I was like, that wasn't cod. And you're like, it wasn't.
To me, it looks the same because I don't know.
No, yeah, and that's understandable, and that sucks.
Yeah, I don't know the difference between a lot of different things food wise, and I'm sure I'm in that 99% of people where it's like we wouldn't be able to tell the difference of something being counterfeit, fake, like placebo, like, or you know what I mean, like where it's not really what it says it is.
Right, unless
you would be able
go
to
out of, but unless you go out of your way and
learn about it.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I can't look at saffron and be like, let me like micro pick and see.
Yeah, but I'm sure that's a little more difficult to tell.
Like I would have to consciously dedicate myself to like doing that.
Yeah.
If it's something as much as like spices and stuff.
Spices.
I can tell by the color sometimes where I'm like, this looks a lot lighter, like there's less pigment or something like that. Like some things you can just tell are cheaper quality in general, but like but they don't put on the label. I've never seen on these labels like what are you putting in there that isn't what you're labeling it at. Like I thought if this is a cheaper version of something, it still has to be on the nutrition label somewhere. You know, and a lot of people don't check that.
No.
So that's how I just assumed most companies get away with it. I didn't realize like sometimes it's not even on the label at all. And you can put like 100% turmeric on something that's not 100% turmeric. That doesn't make sense to me.
What if they put like 100% turmeric blend and that gives them away so they can put other stuff?
Yeah, and that's kind of, it sucks, but that's kind of on the consumer to like
think
look
about
for,
that.
But I don't know. It's weird.
Substitution. The FDA is mandated by law to inspect 2% of the imported seafood, which is, I think, a very, very low bar.
In fact, the U.S. imports as much as 85% of its fish.
But federal fisheries enforcement is serious business. Agents from NOAA and U.S. Customs tear open a container filled with frozen fish from Thailand. They're looking for fraud.
First, it's important to understand the matrix that food fraud lives in. There's intentional and unintentional types of food risk. Unintentional risks include food safety and quality, like accidental foodborne illnesses.
CDC estimates about 50 million people a year contract a foodborne illness. Only 20%, 1 in 5 of those can be identified. So there's 40 million people a year getting sick from something they ate that we don't know.
I've gotten food poisoning a lot of times. Seriously. And it's probably because I didn't do my due diligence of like inspecting the food I'm about to eat. I just ate it.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes, or like, I feel like for you, it's been like undercooked things.
Yeah, yeah. Because I do like my meats a little bit on the rare side. Yeah.
What it is, and a good guess would be that fraud has something to do with that.
Then there's intentional. That's where food fraud is alongside food defense. The difference is fraud is motivated by economic gain, and defense is motivated by harm.
Yeah.
If you have a ton of coffee and you can turn that into 1.2 tons by adding some cheap filler to it, you've just increased your profits by 20%.
Yeah.
And a lot of these products pass through a lot of hands. They go from small growers to big trucks to tankers to boats to processing plants. It's not necessarily like this big company that's selling you coffee that's ripping you off. It can happen in a lot of ways along the way.
Even the FDA
makes
says
sense.
it can't estimate how often this fraud happens or its economic impact. Over the last 10 years, the most common fraud committed is lying about an animal's origin and dilution or substitution, both ranking at 16% of incidents recorded. Dilution and substitution are exactly what they sound like. Perhaps somewhere along the supply chain, the real expensive process of refining something like fresh olives is ignored. Maybe a little canola oil is added instead. Then there's the removal of value, when an ingredient or part of a food is intentionally left out, taken out, or substituted altogether. And that substitute can be a non-food substance. That's the 14% of reported food fraud incidents using non-food substances.
The pandemic has...
What the fuck?
That's insane.
I don't feel safe eating anything anymore. I mean, this is just pretty... It's gross to see this, that, like, this is okay and that we accept this. But
it's not we accept it.
It kind of like we don't really have another option.
Like, it's a full-time job inspecting everything you're consuming.
Okay, look, I just want to jump back. I can't believe that it said the FDA is only required to inspect 2% of the seafood brought into this country.
That's crazy.
And we import 85%.
They probably do it by like by like truckloads or like by batches. They probably check like one thing.
Yeah, but once they check the 2% of the whole 85% that they've brought in, I mean, I don't know if it's at a time, but you know what I mean. Like once they hit their 2%, that's their quota for the whatever period.
I mean, I don't really know I don't know their process of doing it. It just seems like about 2% that is imported in general. But I don't think they're like, okay, we hit our 2%, we're out for the month.
They said they're only required.
Yes, I know. But what I'm saying is they probably inspect what they feel needs to be inspected. And as long as it's at least that, then they're fine, which is stupid. Like, this is fish.
That's what you can get sick from that.
Very sick.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not like a processed food or something.
Yeah, because like salmonella is from salmon, right?
No, that's from poultry.
I'm kidding, guys. It was a joke. It was a joke. I knew that. I'm just kidding. All right, let's continue.
Given us a chance to focus on supply chains and forced us to.
For example, during the pandemic, labeling fraud really spiked in 2021 to 21% of the types of fraud that were committed and recorded.
You know, if we knew all about it, why hasn't it been solved? The key was we weren't focusing on prevention. Food fraud prevention, if we do it right, is boring. We're the fire marshal checking exits and smoke alarms, not catching the bad guys.
The U.S. has laws in place to ensure food safety. That's part of what the FDA does today.
Basically, all food fraud, all product fraud is illegal under one law or another, somehow.
Before the FDA existed, manufacturers could add basically whatever they wanted into the food. Think of Upton Sinclair's The Jungle. That book was published in 1906. That same year, food safety regulation began with the Meat Inspection Act and the Pure Food and Drugs Act, which outlawed adulterated and misbranded food items.
To protect consumers,
this ultimately led to the creation of the FDA.
the Food and Drug Administration and the...
Since then, laws have hit the books to further food safety protocols, like the Food Safety Modernization Act signed into law in 2011.
And then horse meat hit.
The fraud was on a grand scale.
Horse meat was blended into beef in the UK, across Europe.
And sold to unsuspecting supermarkets for a period of 8 months in 2012. The scandal was exposed.
And that was a great wake-up call.
I mean, okay, I'm going to sound like I am pretty ignorant in the subject. Like, what is horse... To me, I would think horse meat would cost more than cow.
I don't think that's a normal food, though. I don't think... But then again...
It's not normal because you didn't grow up eating it. It could be not normal to you. So my point is, like...
I'm sure it tastes good.
I'm thinking you're going to use, like... I don't even know. Like, what's cheap? I don't even know. I really don't know. Like, I don't feel like horse is as easy to come by as cow because we are constantly
isn't it
pumping
crazy?
out
But
cattle.
isn't it crazy how we view horses as like
majestic, which they are.
With like more like pets.
Like yes.
Like because
like
you
dignity
know,
than
cows, but they're both animals. Yet like cows get slaughtered every day.
And pigs too.
But then horses, it's like more people would have an uprising of like anger if they heard that they were eating horses or stuff like that. It's just interesting to me to think that way. That
because again, our upbringing,
we're not used to seeing horses as like being our food. We're used to seeing cows as being our food and pigs. Yeah, so crazy. I don't know. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just curious why. It's like there's horse meat. Oh my God, as if like horse is less valuable.
I think it's just
cow, which I don't know. Is it like
I don't know. But I think the thing that they're probably upset about is that they're lied to. Yeah, they're lied to. Yeah.
I agree. I'm talking about like the producer of doing that. Like the people who are producing this meat, like, aren't you taking a loss? Like, to me, horses are way more expensive than cows.
I have no idea.
And I don't know.
Yeah.
Companies purposely mislead on labels.
Prosecuting the fraudsters committing the crime can be tricky. After all, they're purposely trying to avoid that detection. But criminals are caught. Like in 2016.
Product labeled Market Pantry 100% Parmesan contained cheaper Swiss and cheddar cheese and an organic filler called cellulose, which can be derived from wood pulp.
Castle Cheese was caught adding wood pulp and cheddar to its grated Parmesan that they sold as 100% Parmesan cheese.
The FDA does allow fillers like cellulose in cheese, but it can only make up 4% of the total ingredients.
The president of the company got a $5,000 fine, 200 hours of community service, and 3 years of probation.
For its part, the Food and Drug Administration...
Wow, I'm sorry. If you're a president of probably a multi-billion-dollar company, $5,000 is like $5 to normal people.
I mean, no, you mean to them? It's like
no. I'm saying like they fined a president of a multi-billion-dollar company $5,000.
Yeah, you just said $5,000 is like $5 to normal people. You mean for him, for the company, it's like $5.
That's what I meant.
Yeah, you said.
But I'm saying like it's like finding someone who makes like normal money, like. No, I'm saying it wrong, huh?
Yeah, it's.
I'm sorry.
You get what he's saying.
Yeah,
I get it. To the company, it's like $5.
Yes.
Yes.
Sorry. Yep. Sorry.
Yeah. They should have shut that company down. That's what should have happened because, or he should have.
Yeah, but they probably pay off the FDA. Who fucking knows?
Yeah, again, we don't know that. There's no proof of that.
It's a theory.
But lobbying is everywhere.
For its part, the Food and Drug Administration says its job is to make sure food doesn't hurt you, not to police the labels.
Fraud is tough for the consumer in terms of food because it's difficult. They don't have a lab in their kitchen.
The Food Fraud Prevention Think Tank has a 5-question survey consumers can use when shopping for food. 1, what type of product is it?
Be aware of product that you put on you, in you, or plug in the wall.
2, quality. Can you recognize the difference between the products? If you can't easily tell the difference, that makes you more vulnerable to fraud.
If I drink scotch, I couldn't tell you if it's a difference between a $50 bottle and a $5,000 bottle. So I know I could be deceived at that point.
3, supplier. Do you know the retailer or the supplier? And do you trust them?
No.
So when you turn that box of cereal or bottle of juice over and read the back, there's a lot of information there that's required by law that's helpful to the consumer.
And then question 4, are you buying this item online? The supply chain can be shrouded in more mystery when shopping online.
That makes sense.
So how did you find out about this website? Is it reputable?
But it depends on how you find that supplier.
And finally 5, complain.
I can do that.
It's not a question, but the Food Fraud Prevention Think Tank says if the retailer is legit, they will want to know.
Manufacturers.
Do you have something to say?
No, I'm just kidding.
No, do you have something to say? Exactly.
Can be the victim as well.
The FDA also relies on consumers' reports.
In recent decades, fraudsters have gotten more sophisticated in the techniques they use to fake the food products. And that means that our detection methods and our test methods and standards have to be better at detecting fraud.
That's why the U.S. Pharmacopoeia Convention provides a framework for organizations to detect its vulnerabilities.
We have food fraud mitigation guidance. So it is a supply chain risk management tool to really take a look at which ones are the more risky products suspected to be adulterated.
Or
sometimes it feels.
Or we can support local and not import so much shit. Like I feel like we're a country who should be able to, at least each state should be able to produce for their own.
Yeah, I think just here we think more about cutting costs and quality.
But it's like, do I really trust our government to like
give
a fuck about what's going in our bodies?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They care more about like their bottom line and
I understand, but they're importing. It's like
because it's cheaper, I would think. You get a cheaper product.
But all the money you're spending importing it and all that, like labor, everything, doesn't that add up?
I would think so, but they must be probably buying in huge amounts, getting lower cost product because of where it's being made.
There's probably just not enough people who want to work in a factory here that are willing to like
maybe
go
that
through
too.
Process too.
I don't know.
Anyway,
it's like this is not that big of a deal. But the more fraudsters are able to achieve, the more we end up paying in the end as consumers.
These cases rarely result in criminal penalties. If you want to be like a drug dealer and import heroin and you get arrested on a large scale, you're going to go to jail. But if you can make $80 million importing adulterated honey, and then you're going to get a slap on the wrist and some fines, why wouldn't you do food instead of drugs if there's no basically criminal downside to it? So as long as we don't take it seriously, why should the perpetrators take it seriously?
What we want is the food industry just to be focused on making food and not have to worry about looking over our shoulder, checking different suppliers. And that's going to impact more food being produced, better food, safer food, less expensive food. Right. There's plenty of things for us to worry about in the world today. And food fraud should not be one of those.
I agree with his closing statement. It sucks when like pure food becomes a class issue. Like,
yeah.
No, but it's not. It's not. Yeah, it's like no. That's like no one should wonder what's going in their food. If it's lettuce, it's lettuce. If it's honey, it's honey.
I do. Yeah, but like I know what you're saying. People with more money and time are able to actually like investigate what they're eating.
Or they go shop at Erewhon. They go shop at an expensive, overpriced grocery store.
Those people would sue them if they were getting fake
but
stuff.
The thing is like the quality, high end. I don't even like to call it expensive because even though it is, it's like pure food should just be the same price as shit food. Not shit. It's not shit. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Yes. Like lower quality food.
But it's anyway. I can't get my words out, but I think you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, we understand what you're saying.
Like the standards should be
the same.
Yeah, like the standards should just be what you see is what you get.
Yeah, and I think not
oh, it could have all these fillers or extra ingredients in it, just so we can make more fucking money off of you people.
100%, I agree, and it shouldn't be so much more expensive to get something that is potentially actually what you're trying to get. Like it doesn't have fillers.
If I'm buying rice, I want to know it's rice. I don't want to have to investigate the company and their morals and where they harvest the rice from.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking rice or it's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, it would be nice if it were that simple.
No, but it needs to be that. Yeah. I hate when everything is overcomplicated.
Yeah.
Like it's just weird to me. It's weird.
It's because they know that majority of people are
and
like they're worrying about so much other things right now, especially that they're not going to investigate their label on the stuff they get. They're not going to think like, hey, maybe I should look for a better brand or I should look for this or what's really in this.
I just think it's evil to do that because
it is, but
your intention is I'm going to make this shitty quality.
Yeah.
So that I
can make more money.
Right. Like I just don't get it. Like just have integrity with what you're selling. You're still going to have people buying from you. You're just not going to, I don't even know. Like, it's going to cost you more in the end. Like,
it's going to cost them more in the beginning, I think.
I don't know.
You know what I mean?
I just don't get it. To me, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense because...
it does and it doesn't.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
I get the business side, but
you don't get the moral side.
Just I don't know. I don't know. I don't get it. And I know it's not just here. I know a lot of other countries are importing things that are probably
Yes,
not great.
But I do think most other countries, first world countries, they have other things in line to really make sure that certain things are not being put in food.
I understand that. They have standards where it's like, okay, we don't accept this, this, and this in our chemicals. So if we're importing, remember when we saw like about the pigs?
Yeah.
Like the regulations in the UK or wherever is different than what we're even providing for ourselves here.
Yeah.
So it all comes down to the people who are making the regulations of what's being imported, which we saw was bullshit. Like 2%, are you kidding me? And not only that, the people actually checking it need to be doing a better job too. Because obviously things are, I don't get how you can have a job dedicated to like pretty much one specific thing and not do it well. The standard of it is so low.
Yeah.
Like it's weird.
Yeah, it is weird. I don't know. It makes me think too that they probably just want to like be within their budget so that way they don't have to work, like have people working so much, hire more people to investigate it, to, you know, like inspect it. I think it just all comes down to the bottom line of the FDA too. They're a corporation as well, making money.
Anyway,
it's annoying. It is
like
annoying,
the guy was saying at the end. There's always so much we can put on our plates.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But yeah, we hope you enjoyed this video. It was, as you can see, it was a little irritating hearing about this.
It's just not something that should be a stress in people's life.
Yeah.
Like food is already not the easiest thing to come by, especially now in this economy. Like people are pretty much just eating what they can to survive.
Yeah, so they're gonna jump way more towards fast food. They're gonna jump like the really cheap stuff. Like, and also, it shouldn't be so expensive
when you know you're eating
to eat
fast
healthy.
Food, it's shit. At least you know this is not healthy for me.
Yeah, I know. But that's another thing too, that if you guys have that in your places where you're from, like fast food, that's like healthy, really healthy food. That's interesting.
That's interesting.
It is, but I think we need to do that more here. But it shouldn't be so expensive to get healthy food here. It's a lot cheaper to just buy shit quality.
But I feel like even healthy food
could be altered.
You don't know what ingredients they're using.
Yeah,
like
and if they say 100% organic, they might be lying.
I worked at a spot, I'm not gonna say the name, a while ago, and everything was organic, fresh. Like smoothies there were like $18, $19, okay? For like a 16 ounce, okay? Yeah. I don't even know if this is legal, but they said everything was organic, and this happened a lot. This wasn't like every now and then. If the produce man came to drop off like a shipment and things weren't organic, he would bring a non-organic brand of what we ordered, and we would have to accept it. And you think the customers knew? No. So that's what I'm saying. It's like you might think you're
yeah.
Anyway, I digress. Hope everyone has a great weekend.
Yep. And don't forget to like and subscribe, turn on them notifications, jump over to the vlog channel. You know what to do, loners. We appreciate y'all. Take it easy.
Thank you
Peace.
for hearing me complain.
Bye, guys.